On the 16th of March in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States, Robert Aaron Long, 21-year-old man, entered 3 different massage parlors and executed 8 people, 6 of whom were of Asian descent. Now, I feared when I heard this that this is a racist attack, because attacks on Asians had been on the increase of late. But I withheld judgment. We didn't know enough facts on the case, so I suspected it could be a racist attack, but I didn't jump to any conclusions. Somebody who did jump to a conclusion was Trevor Noah, and he blamed racism. Surprise, surprise. He said that if you execute 6 Asians, if that's not racism, then I don't know what is. Well, apparently, Trevor, you don't know what racism is. Even though you're a black guy who grew up in South Africa, you think you would have some better idea on what racism is. People can commit terrible crimes against each other for reasons other than racism. They do it every day. Black people commit crimes on white people every day, and it has nothing to do with racism. White people commit crimes on black people every day, and it has nothing to do with racism. So the idea that if you kill 6 Asian people, that you had to be motivated by racism, it was their skin color that you had a problem with, is nonsense. It turns out that he executed these people because he blamed the massage parlors for his sex addiction. So this was his reason, and the FBI director came out and he said, quote, "It does not appear that this crime was racially motivated." And Noah just doubles down. He says, "F you, guy. If you kill 6 Asians, that's racism." So apparently Trevor Noah has this clairvoyance where he can see into somebody else's heart and knows to a moral certainty what they're motivated by. It seems the default position with people like Trevor Noah is racism. When in doubt, racism. When we're uncertain about it, it must be racism. When the facts are not quite in yet, it's racism. Racism, especially at this moment in time, carries with it a huge burden of proof. If you were going to call somebody racist or call something a racist attack, you better be damn sure that you can prove it. People's lives and reputations have been absolutely destroyed by people like Trevor Noah, usually people on the far left of the political spectrum, who will throw this term around so frivolously. The term racist now is just so elastic that you can apply it to practically anything. And you can see Noah here applying it where it patently doesn't belong. He's determined to call this a racist attack, even when it clearly isn't. He quietly sweeps aside the fact that 2 of the people killed were white. Well, if he blamed, as Noah says, he blamed an entire race of people for his sex addiction, which is not true. I don't know where he got that. He just pulled this out of thin air. If he blamed an entire race of people for his sex addiction, why did he kill 2 white people as well? That doesn't really fit, does it? It doesn't make sense. And he went on to talk about, we should have seen this coming because attacks on the Asian community have been on the increase. Yeah, a hell of a lot of those attacks were perpetrated by black people. You left that out as well. This wasn't a racist attack. It was a despicable crime and an unspeakable crime. But It had nothing to do with race. If there were 8 white people, when he just walked into these massage parlors, it'd be 8 white people dead. These people were not targeted because of the color of their skin. Those are the people that were there when he showed up. So racism is not the necessary variable in this case. But again, there's people out there determined to see it everywhere. And in a lot of cases where it doesn't exist. Excuse me. Just one more point on this. In America at the moment, there seems to be this push towards racial segregation in certain instances. As crazy as that sounds, how can you look at history and think that racial segregation in any context would be a good idea? There was a graduation at some university recently where they had black graduation. You know, it's completely insane. Like, if there's a black graduation, where's the Chinese graduation? The Mexican, the Jewish, the Irish, whatever. Are we going to divide along racial lines and think that that goes anywhere good? You know, black studies, black history. I mean, what is this? Why can't it just be history? That includes black people. A graduation that includes black people. Why are we dividing along racial lines like this? It's going to increase racial tensions beyond belief. It really will. We're just getting to a point where race relations in America should have been, it should have all been really coming to an end. You know, there's a black president, a 2-term black president. It should have been fairly symbolic of this thing being over, but there are people that will still hell from the rooftops that, you know, racism has never been worse in America, which I don't know. I think that's the way they want it to be, personally. But yeah, I hope people in America will see Trevor Noah for the race baiter that he is. I don't know much else about him. He could be an incredible guy in every other area of his life. I don't know. But on this issue, he seriously fails. And it's an issue, again, being a black guy coming from South Africa, that he should know what racism is. And he should know that not everything can be obviously blamed on it. I haven't too much optimism on that point. Looking at the amount of likes on his Twitter, idiotic tweets on Twitter regarding this issue, it's really depressing. But yeah, adios.